What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check updates, all the additional stimulus programs and benefits that are either already passed or potentially coming in the next infrastructure package, as well as what is going on in the world today. All right, first up, a quick reminder that there are a lot of scams going on YouTube and even Facebook and other platforms I'm seeing too. I get a lot of people asking me, hey, Jimmy, is that really you in the comments? Okay, so if you see any replies to any comments like this, thanks for your feedback. For more information, WhatsApp me with some strange phone number with all sorts of dashes and dots and things put in there to they put that in there to get to get around the spam filters and our spam filters. Okay, so if you ever see me commenting in the comments, it's not me. If two things. Number one, I'll have a check mark by my name. And number two, I will never ask you to contact me on WhatsApp. I don't use WhatsApp. I'll never leave a phone number in the comments. I get people every day asking me if this is real, if it's me, so they must not know about this. And this is going on thousands of different channels. As you can see here on this picture, this is what it will look like when it's me. Notice I have the check mark by my name. I have this gray circle around my name. The check mark means I'm verified by YouTube, which means I have over 100,000 subscribers, and I went through a manual verification proving who I am. It's a very hard process to do. I think less than 1/10 of one creators on YouTube are able to get this. Okay, so I will always have a check mark by my name. And I will never ask you to contact me for an investment for WhatsApp in the comments. Okay. If you ever see anything like this in the comments, know that it's not me. I ban them from the channel every single day. You can see I can click this button and ban them. I'm already banned this person, but they leave dozens of comments. So just know that I ban these people every single day and they keep making new accounts. And it's an ongoing problem on YouTube. YouTube really needs to figure out a way to block these people accounts because they're doing this for like thousands or hundreds of different popular YouTube channels. And they must have teams of people doing this because, man, it's crazy. I'm getting hit with my channel like 7 times a day right now. And I have to find them and ban them. And then I have to go back and delete their old comment. They should just stop messing. If you're watching this and you're the scammer or one of them, you should just stop with my channel because I delete your comments and ban you guys all the time. You probably should pick on the other channels that maybe aren't as diligent of it. But I take that very seriously. I wish that YouTube would program some new features into for creators so that when I ban somebody, I can delete all their old comments with one click. That is something that YouTube should do, and they need to figure this out because this is a systematic problem for YouTube, and let's hope they figure it out quickly because it's ridiculous. Also be aware that there are lots of scams going on outside of YouTube and Facebook, especially on the phone and text message. There are scams right now to get your stimulus check. They'll say you have to verify your information. They're doing that for student loan forgiveness. They'll call you and say, yeah, if you want student loan forgiveness, give me your information. Okay, the government is not doing that. Also be aware that there's tax refund scams. It's a sad world today. It's really a sad world. And most of these scams come from outside the USA, but they have cheap access to VoIP where they can just call over the internet and provide fake numbers actually for the caller ID, spoof numbers. They can actually use your phone number as the caller ID. So yeah, it's a very sad situation. And honestly, the phone spam has just been going on for years. I mean, come on, they can't figure this out. I mean, think about how many people fall for these things. And I know a lot of people get scammed, and sometimes they make it seem so real. So just please be very careful. Don't give your password or bank account information to anybody at all unless you are 100% sure you know what you're doing and you know that they're legitimate because our goal on this channel is to help you out and get you more money, get you programs that get you financially free, not the other way around.
And the IRS will never call you.
You hear that? That's my beautiful wife here. The IRS will never call you. One of the huge major stories going on in our country today is the Derek Chauvin murder trial has moved to closing arguments. by the time you see this, I have to film this a little bit before because I have to film it. My wife has to edit it, then we have to upload it, and it has to go live before our set times. So it could be actually going into deliberation at this point by the time you're viewing this. This is a major, major issue for our country because this is going to set a precedence. And I personally think that Derek Chauvin is guilty. You can let me know if you think differently. Now, remember, he's not being charged with first or second degree murder. A lot of people get this confused. And he was actually arrested last year on May 29th, 2020. And he was charged with third degree murder and the lesser included offense of second degree murder manslaughter. So he is actually not charged with first or second degree murder. He is charged with third degree murder and second degree manslaughter. So these two charges are basically that he died at the officer's hand, but it wasn't intentional. He didn't have intent or pre-motivation to do that, and that is why the attorney generals and the county went forward with third degree murder and also second degree manslaughter here. But it's actually controversial. This alone is controversial because they knew each other before this incident, and the officer held him down, and it almost you could make the argument that's well, this is not I could make the argument, but people have already made this argument saying, well, that he knew him and he held him down. It was kind of like you could make the argument saying, well, he held him down, like punishing him, and that he knew him ahead of time. So it's very different when you know somebody, especially if you don't like them. You know, you could be like, yeah, well, I got you now, buddy. Man, this is such a tough situation. I personally think that he's guilty. And I mean, he held him down after he was handcuffed, and the guy was subdued. And it was like 9 minutes. And the poor guy was, I just watched the footage again. He was crying and asking for his mother. And you can even my wife said you can see the moment that he passes away. It's so sad. And I am generally pro police. I think that we really need police in this country. When if someone breaks in your house or if you have an issue, you can call 911. And we had our alarm system go off a few months ago, and we called 911 in the middle of the night, and the police were here within 4 minutes. 4 minutes, and the police were here. So I think that we really need that in our country. But I also think that some reform could only be good. There could only be a good thing. I think that there are bad people in every aspect of anything: police officers, firefighters, YouTubers, landscapers, any walk of life. You'll always have bad people, and you'll always have people that make mistakes too. People that maybe get caught up in the moment and don't know what's going on, and it happens like that. If you've ever been a wrestler, you'll know that a 6 minute wrestling match, it goes by, and sometimes you don't even know what happened, and you're like, did I really just do that? And you were out there wrestling for 6 minutes, and it's almost like you're in a third party person, and you're like, boom, and it was over, and it was like 6 minutes, and boom. But then sometimes you're in a wrestling match and it feels like the longest day of your life, where like just everything is it just takes forever, and the 6 minutes feels like you've been running for 5 hours. It's so exhausting sometimes. So I definitely get both sides of the point of view. Let me know your thoughts on this. This is a massive, massive, probably the largest trial that we're going to have for the entire year. And this is going to set major, major precedences for our country going forward. So let me know your thoughts and what do you think is going to happen? On stimulus, we're seeing more and more cities and movements go towards universal basic income or guaranteed income programs. For example, here just today, LA mayor seeks $24 million for a guaranteed income pilot program or test program. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti said in an interview published on Monday that he will ask the Los Angeles City Council to set aside $24 million in the next year's budget to provide a guaranteed monthly income to 2,000 LA families. Quote, we have to end America's addiction to poverty now, he said in an interview. For families who can't think past the next bill, the next shift or the next health problem that they have, we can give them the space to not only dream of a better life, but to actualize it. The proposal, titled Big Leap Basic Income Guaranteed for LA Economic Assistance Program, that's actually a pretty creative name, will provide 2,000 families living at or below the poverty level with an unconditional monthly payment of $1,000 per month. A full set of qualifications have not been set, but will probably include supporting a child under the age of 18, as well as demonstrated medical or financial hardship due to the pandemic. And guess what? LA is not the only city applying for this. In fact, there's 40 different cities across the United States, including Oakland, California, that have already established and are testing a mayor through the Mayors for Guaranteed Income program. 40 different cities across the country are already testing guaranteed income programs. In fact, here is an actual graph of all the different cities that are already testing or have guaranteed income programs for low income citizens of these areas. You can see it looks like about half the states in the United States have at least one city where they are testing this. And some major cities, such as Seattle, Los Angeles, Houston, Gainesville, Florida, New Orleans, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. So you can see that this is catching on and is something that seems to be growing in popularity and more cities coming on board with this. Remember, the Democrats are kind of testing, and really, this goes back to a program from former President Donald Trump that he increased as well with the child income tax credits. The IRS is setting up a program to pay this monthly to families with children. This has already passed from the third stimulus check package, and a lot of people say that this is the start of universal basic income or guaranteed income for families with children. And that is why so many Democrats are pushing for the fourth stimulus check to be in this infrastructure package and to be monthly recurring stimulus payments until the pandemic is over or until 1 year after the pandemic is over. By pandemic being over, it means the government will declare it over. At some point, once the cases are pretty much gone, the government will declare the state of emergency or the pandemic is over, and that will be the defining line for the two different monthly stimulus check programs. This one, the Senate bill from Ed Markey and Elizabeth Warren, this is for $2,000 monthly stimulus checks until the pandemic is declared over. So at earliest, Dr. Fauci says that it will be at the earliest, and this is optimism thinking here, December 31st of this year, if everything went perfect. So at best, or at worst, maybe I should say, you would get 6 to 7 stimulus checks if and when they were to pass this particular bill for $2,000 per month that would go till December 31st. This bill, which is really gaining in popularity, and a lot of people are coming on board on this, and a lot of groups are calling for this, is a one-time $2,000 stimulus check. This is a bill in the House of Representatives. And then $1,000 monthly stimulus payments for at least 12 months, most likely 18 months or more. This goes for until 1 year after the pandemic is declared over. So whenever they pass this, this would pay a $2,000 one-time stimulus check, then $1,000 monthly recurring stimulus checks until a year after the pandemic is declared over. So they declare the pandemic over, for example, say December 31st. This would continue paying for 1 year after with $1,000 monthly stimulus checks. And the reason for that is because of the pandemic. Well, okay, we have the pandemic part, we have the medical part of the recession or the depression that we're in. But we also have the economic portion, okay? And remember, almost every depression or recession that we've had in recent years, the most recent, the 2008, 2009 mortgage crisis and housing crisis, where that put us in a recession for 4 years. It took us over 4 years for employment to even get back to the levels it was. That had no medical pandemic at all. It was just the economic problem. Okay, so these problems can take years to fix, and that's why most economists say that the modern day stimulus program which was just tested back in 2008. They passed a minor stimulus compared to what they passed today. Most economists will say that back then, had they passed more stimulus, it would have brought us out of the recession faster than that 4 years it took for unemployment to get back to normal, and it would have actually paid for itself. So, had they passed, say, an additional $1 or $2 trillion stimulus program, it would have actually paid for itself by shortening the recovery time, say by 6 months, even that additional 6 months of having higher people back to work, more economic activity, more sales tax coming in, more taxes being paid would have actually paid for the stimulus package. And that's why a lot of economists say that these stimulus programs, the stimulus packages we have, we can't end them too soon, because if we do, it's like pulling the vitamins away from our country. Okay, we know that the stock market crashed when the economy shut down. This is the Dow Jones Stock Market Index, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. We were at around 29,000 before the pandemic hit, which was an all time high at the moment. And then we dropped all the way down to 19,000. So, what is that? Slightly less than a 50% drop. And that dropped swift and quickly, very quickly. But then you see the economy came back very quickly. We jumped from 19,000 to 24,000 in less than a month because of that first stimulus package underneath former President Donald Trump. That was the largest stimulus package yet to date, more than President Biden's. That was $2.2 trillion, the CARES Act. And then you can see we continued to go up and up and up and up, because remember, through this time, they've passed 6 different stimulus packages. 3 of them had checks. 3 of them didn't have checks, but had other things like money for the virus, money for the vaccine, the distribution, and money for small businesses through the Paycheck Protection Program. But had we not have had 6 different stimulus packages during this, we would have probably continued down here or maybe flat. And remember, it's a lot. The stock market has a lot of indications for the economy. People's 401ks are in there. People's pensions are tied to that, and people that have money in the market. So it's not just for rich people. Many retirement funds, pensions, and 401ks are tied to the stock market. So if they're down 50% or continue to go down, that's very bad news for our seniors that have retirement plans tied to the market. You could see this, we basically had almost a year of upswing because of these stimulus packages. And the stimulus packages really provide a lot more than just the stock market. That's just one indicator. It's a nice thing to see on a graph to show you the visual dynamics of how they help. You obviously know that without 3 stimulus checks, you'd be in a much harder situation than you are now. We're going to have these child income tax credit stimulus checks coming out starting in July. And we also have the Paycheck Protection Program, which helped out millions of small businesses and even medium sized businesses to get through this pandemic. We had a recent statistic that shows that in February alone, 22% of US small businesses, small and medium businesses, were closed in the United States in just February alone. Some states were hit even harder. New York, 31%, Pennsylvania, 31, and Massachusetts, 30% reported the highest closure rates in the country of small businesses closing. And without stimulus programs where people can spend money on food and rent and helping small businesses buying goods and products, and also small business programs like the Paycheck Protection Program, where they could use the money to pay for their employees, basically help out the businesses and the employees, our country would be basically like a 1929 crash, the Great Depression. Back then, there was no Social Security, there was no unemployment, and there was no stimulus package, there was no stimulus checks. Can you imagine how bad it would be without any of those? Imagine if there's no Social Security. Imagine if there was no unemployment for the tens of millions of people that lost their jobs. Imagine if you lost your job and got nothing. You were just, and there was no other jobs to be had. And there was no stimulus checks, no stimulus programs at all, no SNAP programs, no WIC programs, no government support basically at all. So that's how much worse it would be. And that's why economists say that these stimulus checks, stimulus packages, and Social Security and unemployment, all these government packages that they've created really help our economy and our country. And they'll likely never get rid of them. they've realized how well they work. And going forward, this will be a something that just stays around. So I will keep you up to date with the fourth stimulus check and everything on the horizon, stimulus related wise, as well as what's going on in the world today. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos. We talk about different things in different videos, so don't miss an episode. New videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 8 p.m., and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. After subscribing down below, which is completely free to do so, click the bell icon to all notifications to get reminder notifications for the first 3 videos of the day. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA, which me and my wife do, sell products on Amazon, and we also teach people how to replace their 9-to-5 income by doing that. So click on one of these videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.